Hey guys, it's Kevin again. This is going to be for Teen Wolf Season 4, Episode 5, I.E.D. And this episode was just, wow. This was by far the best episode of the season. I absolutely love this episode. I thought this episode was so well done. So good. I really enjoyed this episode. So many great things about this episode. So many great things about this season. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens on the rest of the season, because I'm loving this season, and this episode was just so good. So, let's just get to the episode. So, we start off where we see this random girl running for her life. We don't know where she's coming from or whatever. And, she runs onto a school bus, and she's trying to get away from Violet. You know, one of the kids, one of the freshmen that's one of the werewolf hunters. And the werewolf girl just keeps uttering the sun, the moon, the truth. Eventually, though, Violet gets on the bus. The girl gets away. Garett pulls up in his car, offers the werewolf his help. She gets in, and he says, "I can't believe you fell." And, because he's making her think that he actually cares. He says, "I can't believe you fell for that," and he then stabs her. So, that was huge right there. So, Stiles and Scott then show Sheriff Stilinski the hit list. You know, if you remember at the end of the last episodes, Lydia and Kira found that list that all of them are on, and basically, the list is only partial. They need other cipher keys to decorate the rest of the Deadpool. Now, Lydia discovered the first cipher, which of course was Allison, and now she's at the lake house trying to discover the others. However, it appears as she's not really having any luck with this. So far, 6 people from the list have been killed. But Stiles and Scott kind of have this theory. And the theory is that the bounties for the supernatural deaths will add up to $117 million. The total amount from the Hail Vault. You know, Peter needs that money. $117. So, the benefactor seems to be using this to fund his endeavors. So that's kind of interesting. So Stiles, Scott, and Sheriff Stilinski rightly assume that at least one of the assassins must be a student, since they knew that one of the werewolves would be at the kids' lake house party. Because, you know, they tried to kill, they killed that guy. I forgot what his name was, but they killed him. So we then see Violet and Garett in the hallway, and they say that they're going after the big prize next, and it's going to be tonight. Now, right away, I'm thinking, okay, I'm pretty sure, and I'll get to my theory, but I'm pretty sure that Garett is the benefactor, and I'll get to how I think that, but Garett is working on the school gym. His friend reveals that tonight's lacrosse game will be against his old school, and I like seeing this friendship between Garett and him. I like that they're kind of focusing a little more on the freshmen this year, because I think it's kind of interesting, because we're seeing more of the new characters. I think it's actually really cool that they're doing that, and I really like that about the show. So Derek then shows up to check out Liam and his anger issues, and Scott arrives and tells Liam to head to class, and Derek says that Liam's anger will make him very strong, but he also says that Scott's going to make a great alpha and mentor to a new beta, because Derek knows that he did not really mentor, Scott in the best way, because Derek kind of mentored Scott, if you remember, but when he mentored Scott, he did not really do it in the best way. He tried to do the best he could, but he didn't really, mentor him the best he could have. And, basically, he's gonna try to mentor him, so that's definitely gonna be interesting. So in class, Stiles is looking at photos of the murder victims, and the coach is swinging around a lacrosse stick, and Stiles has an epiphany. He notices that the shapes of the wounds on one of the victims resembles the end of a lacrosse stick, and Stiles turns to Scott and says that one of the killers is on the team. So, Stiles and Scott look for the lacrosse stick that's harboring a hidden dagger, and Stiles thinks that they should cancel the game, but Kira and Scott say they aren't afraid. By the way, Kira is joining the lacrosse team. That was kind of interesting, Kira's dad came up to her and was talking to her and everything, and she thought he was talking about the thermal cut wires and things like that, and that was definitely very interesting. So, Stiles thinks they should, but basically, Malia and Lydia discover that they are going... Oh, well, I'll talk about Malia and Lydia in a second. Violet and Garett say they're going after Liam, not Scott, in the chem lab. And V and G, they decide to cover Garett's hidden lacrosse dagger with a special species of wolfsbane. And this confirms my theory that, yes, Garett is the benefactor, because here's how I think Garett is the benefactor. Garett is the benefactor because he has that very sharp dagger under his lacrosse stick. So, obviously, we know the benefactor, but the thing is, the benefactor, has no mouth. So, is he an axe murderer? No, he's stabbing people with that dagger. However, I do think he's somehow involved with that axe murderer thing. Here's what I'm thinking. I don't think they're actually the axe murderers. I think they're working for the axe murderer. That's what it is. They're working for him. So Liam has a heated run in with his old school's lacrosse team, who just arrived at Beacon Hills for the lacrosse scrimmage, and he begins to lose control. Scott and Styles go over to him to contain him, and in the locker room, they put him under a cold shower in an effort to calm him down. He reveals that he was diagnosed with, and I thought this was really interesting, because, there was a scene where, Sean was talking to, not Sean, Liam, Sean was killed, who's Sean? Liam was talking to his friend, and he was telling him how, he has anger issues, he came up to his opponent, and his opponent told him, oh, I thought you went to anger management or whatever, and Scott and Styles got very suspicious about this, and I like that we found a little bit more about his character. Basically, he used to take medication for his I.E.D. However, he admits that he stopped taking it because it makes him too tired on the lacrosse field, so he doesn't take it anymore. It's that simple. So Scott tells Liam that he shouldn't play today, but Liam says that he can handle it, that he can control himself, and Styles and Scott reveal that they think one of the killers is on the team, and was also at the party. And Liam says that he's not sure who ordered the keg, but he does know who paid for it, which of course is Garett. And we see Garett walking down the hallway with a smile on his face, which makes us very suspicious. So the field lights turn on for the game, and Chirs on the bench beside Scott, and she's a bit nervous for her first game. And then Derek and Chris peruse the Hal vaults, and he's looking for Kate. Derek asks Chris if he himself could take care of Kate, because she took something from him, and he reveals that at first he thought she just stole bits of his past, but now he says that she actually stole his powers, and he's losing them. Now, I thought this was very interesting, that not only did Kate steal his past, but she stole his powers. So, Derek is gonna lose his powers. But the thing is, didn't Derek lose his powers last season? I thought Derek just, lost his powers last season. But, he's losing more of his powers now, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens now, because I'm thinking that Derek's going to turn into a human, or he's just going to die. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. But basically, Chris needs to take care of Kate, so we're going to see what happens. We did not see Kate in this episode, though, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens, definitely. I thought that was a very good twist, though. I love that Teen Wolf can just throw twists at you. That's one of the best parts about Teen Wolf. So the game begins, and they try to play while at the same time keeping an eye on both Liam and Garett. And, eventually, though, Araya shows up with one of her hunter cronies. And, Chris and him face each other with guns drawn, and in Mexico, this is what we call a standoff, she says. We don't know where this came from or whatever, but this was definitely very interesting. Because on the field, Garett misses Liam, and instead nicks the leg of another player, and that was, huge, because that was really big, definitely. And, basically, the lacrosse player crawls into the locker room. Violet is there, and she goes to kill him. And soon Scott enters the locker room, and Violet chose not to kill the player, and instead goes after Scott, but a thermal wire is not matched for Scott. He pushes her against the wall, and she loses consciousness, so that was really big. And then we get the biggest reveal of them all. This really is definitely very interesting, because the standoff with Araya and Chris ends, she makes him repeat over and over again the Hunter's Code. We hunt those who hunt us, and it seems as Araya has reinvoked Chris's primal hunter instincts. Now, this is not good at all, because I am thinking Araya and Chris, I am thinking that they are the axe murderers. They are going to go around killing those, we hunt those who hunt us, and as we know, Chris helped Scott last week, and Chris is actually a very close ally of Scott's, so Chris is kind of in a bind right now. He's really in a bind, because he doesn't know, should he stay with his family, who he cares about immensely. And I thought it was huge that we found at the end that Araya is Chris's, is related to Chris. That is huge. I didn't think we'd ever see Araya again, but now we are. And, basically the biggest thing is that, Chris is related to Araya, and of course Allison died, but she did not die from getting killed. She died because she wanted to sacrifice herself so everyone else could live. And he needs to realize that. So, Chris doesn't seem to be going along with it, but he seems to he was forced to say the code. However, I don't know if Chris really agrees, so we'll have to see what happens there. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens in the next episode, with Chris. That was definitely very interesting. And I think that is very interesting. So let's get to Lydia and Malia. Lydia and Malia was, really shocking, because, as I said, Lydia was having a couple of times trying to was having, a hard time trying to figure out the code. And she tried her hardest to divine the next cipher, and she's struggling. And Malia suggests that maybe they need the help of another banshee. When they said Meredith, I was like, oh my god, I completely forgot about her. Now, here's the thing, guys. If you remember, I did a video I did a video in Season 3 when I reviewed that episode with Meredith, and I said that I thought Meredith and Lydia were at some point going to meet. And, here we go. They're meeting. And Malia and Lydia discover that going to meet Meredith will prove to actually be a struggle. Because the problem is only a family member can visit her. Only problem is that all her family is dead. So they kind of have an issue here that they can't really visit her and they don't know what to do. Meredith eventually, though, does show up at the police station. She says that she's looking for Lydia because she wants to meet up with Lydia. So Lydia and Meredith meet up at the police station, and Deputy Parish, who I'm really happy that they're putting in a lot of scenes with Lydia, because I think they have a lot of chemistry, personally, and I really would like them to get together. And he asks why Lydia, who was called in, and Parish asks if it's because she's psychic. And Parish doesn't know that Lydia is actually a banshee, of course, and he thinks that she's definitely something, but he knows that she's definitely something. He doesn't know that she's a banshee, though. I'm wondering if eventually she is going to tell him the truth that she is a banshee, because it's going to keep him, confused on how she can be a banshee, but also, how can she be psychic, but also all these other things. And Chirs then covers his bases by saying that he called her because he believes she's initiative, which is good. Chirs, you rock. Good. That was good for you for saying that. And basically, at the police station, Meredith then gives them a number, which is 2436, and Lydia thinks she should be giving them a phone number. But Meredith says that is the full number. And that's all. Lydia gets very upset because all she's trying to do is discover the remaining names on the list. She's becoming frustrated with how helpless she feels at times. And Meredith is taken back to Icon House, and Lydia is distraught. Malia looks at the numbers of the paper, and then looks at the phone, and they decode Meredith's message. The numbers actually, she says, well, wait a second. Thinking about algebra here, what if the numbers are like algebra? And the numbers actually correspond to the letters on the phone digits. And after decoding the message, Lydia discovers the second cipher, which says Aiden. And I was like, Aiden? Why is one of the twins the code? She decodes the second and the third list, and Jordan Parish is on that list, but so was Liam's arch nemesis on the opposing team. So, yeah, that was basically the episode, and the episode was amazing. I absolutely love this episode. I thought this episode was amazing. It was jam-packed with so much shit that was going down. Just so good, and this episode was so good, because I have a couple questions now. Alright, I'm pretty sure that Araya is the axe murderer. She's the one that's killing people off, and she's going to try to convince Chris to do it as well. But the thing is, Chris is really, as I said, in a bind because he is allies with Scott, and he actually helped Scott last week. So, would Chris really betray Scott? Would he really do that? I don't know. The thing is, Araya did bring up some good points, because Allison's dead, his wife is dead because of a werewolf, things like that. But his wife died so long ago, I think he's pretty much forgiven them for that. As far as Allison goes, he knows that Allison sacrificed herself, so, basically, he's fine, he should be fine with that, but the thing is, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens here. Now, as far as Violet and Garett go, I think that they are working for the axe murderer, who I'm pretty sure is Araya, and if that's true, that makes so much sense now, because if you remember, this all started after Derek was turned back into a human. Because in the first episode, we saw Araya, and I was pretty sure Araya was going to be the main villain of the season, and it seems like she's going to be, because I didn't think we'd ever see her again, and now we're seeing her again, which is great. I'm very happy we're seeing her again. Now, as far as Derek goes with losing his powers, that's going to be very interesting to see where that goes. As we know, Derek, is losing his powers because Kate took them from him. And it looks like next week we're going to see Kate again, and something's going to happen with Kate, definitely. It's going to be, I don't know what's going to happen with Kate, but it's going to be interesting to actually see what ends up happening with Kate. I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen there. Definitely, I think it's going to get very, very interesting there. And, also, Lydia and Deputy Parish, they have a lot of chemistry, in my opinion. They really do. I really think they are going to get together at some point because they keep pairing them up together, and they wouldn't just pair them up together for no reason. They really do like each other, and I like the chemistry that they have. And I think that they should get together because it's about time that Lydia actually got a really good boyfriend. But that's basically it for my review. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in my next video, which will be my review for either another classroom review or tonight's episode of Pretty Little Liars. So we'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.